Hey, this is Joe Pryor with the virtual real estate team in Edmond, Oklahoma. I want to make a video for the realtors that came to my class Thursday on social media marketing. It was a 3-hour class, and as I said before, you really don't have time to do everything that needs to be done and talk about everything. And there's a couple of important points and important ideas that we really didn't get around to in detail. And that is a strategy that we can take on Facebook and a strategy that we can take on Twitter. So bear with me with this 10-minute video that you're receiving while I talk about a Facebook strategy. Now, we talked about the general ideas of Facebook, that there's a ton of people on there, one out of every 13 people on the planet in the majority of the United States, and how important it is to be where the people are. But for those of you who saw the movie about the making of Facebook, you remember that it was called The Social Network. And I think we forget the word social. And so what I see on Facebook is realtors doing push marketing, which is not marketing that's really tremendously successful on the internet. This is where you cram real estate down people's throats regardless of whether they want to hear it or not, or whether they've given you permission to do it. This is something that Facebook is different about. First of all, we've got to be social. We've got to make connections. We've got to gain people's trust. And the way that we do that is to build up our friends network. Now, when you think of friends as you're building this up, you should think of it as a database, just like anything. In other words, you have family, you have friends, you have clients, you have businesses, you have local people, etc., out-of-state realtors. These are all categories that you need to create as you make these friends. Now, I would start with family. It's a great place to start. We have family that's out of state. People connect with them, and then we may connect with the friends of our family. The next thing are friends. Now, we talked about high school, for instance. I made a joke about that, about how you connect maybe with an old boyfriend or girlfriend. But that's important. These are people that you knew at a very important time of your life. And Facebook is a great place that people want to connect. I mean, Classmates.com was pretty cool, but now people are connecting from the older days on Facebook. But there's also college friends, there's church friends, there's friends that we know from different parts of our lives in terms of business. So we want to connect with them, and then they have friends. We look through their friends list, we see if there's people we know, and so then we ask them to be a friend. And so we build that way in our friendship list. The next thing are clients. We want to connect with our current clients and our past clients. Most all of them are on Facebook, so you want to connect with them too. That's another important point. Now, after you've done that, then there's another category, and that's local people. Maybe people that you don't know. Now, there's a couple of ways that you can do this. One of the ways that I do it is I start looking for groups. You guys are in Edmond, Oklahoma, most of you. One easy place to go would be, say, the Edmond Chamber of Commerce. Go through that list because you're going to find businesses to connect with. You're going to find individuals to connect with. Now, I really want you to do this. I want you to add a personal message to these people and say, look, I'm Joe Pryor, and I'm a realtor in Edmond, Oklahoma, but I really want to connect with you because I'm trying to connect with local people and just find out what you think is going on and what your opinions are about things. Hope I really get a chance to connect with you because they may think that you're trying to spam them and send them a lot of stuff on real estate. I know when people do that to me on investments and things after I friended them, I typically defriend them because I'm tired of them coming and pushing stuff out to me. They don't want that either. So give them a reason to connect with you. So look for groups that you can find in that respect. And so you're going to get more friends that way. So we're building these lists. We're also categorizing them into a database. And that's our start. Now the next thing is to connect with them and to build their trust. And this is the individual streams. And this is where I told you that I think you should be provocative. Now, provocative doesn't necessarily mean that you talk about something and trash it. Maybe there's a religious belief that you trash, or a political person that you trash, or things like that. I would be very careful about this because we deal with a lot of people that don't share our opinions. I don't think Facebook's a good place to, again, cram our opinions down people's throats. Plus, it doesn't get you comments. You want comments. And so it's very important that you ask for a call to action. You give them the opportunity to give their opinion about something that's important. Hey, that movie, I don't know what you thought about Inception, but it was a little strange. Did you think it was strange? Did you get it? whatever it happens to be, provocative means that it is something that they want to comment on. And the reason why that's important, if you get no comments, the only place that your update is going to show is on your profile. You don't want that. What you want is people to like those comments, your profile or your stream. You want them to comment on it because then it shows up on their streams. And then if it's really important, it shows up on their friends' streams. And so what's going to happen is eventually some people that you don't know are going to connect with you because they saw your comment in their friend's stream. And they want to kind of think, hey, I like what he's saying. This is really cool. And so at that point, then it becomes automatic, and all of a sudden you may be getting a good 20 friends every week that are connecting with you because of your comments. So you're out there, you're being social, you're being fun, you're posting some videos off YouTube that amuse you or some good music, whatever. You're asking for people's opinions, which is terrific, because ultimately you want to get to that great question where somebody gives you the question, what do you think about the market? That's pull marketing. That's when you gain their trust. Now, I don't think that you can just eliminate real estate, but I wouldn't necessarily do the listings, but I would talk about real estate and general conditions every once in a while because, hey, that's what we are. And I think it's important news. It is newsworthy if things are going up or things are going down or certain price ranges are working. I think people kind of want to see that. So go ahead and do that, because then what you're going to do is on a local basis, you're going to be friends with a lot of people that want to know what you're saying. And you're going to comment on them. You're going to wish them happy birthday. You're going to be part of a community. Now, when I first started out, and I've got over 3,000 friends in building, I friended everybody. I went on that list on the right side, and I went, well, if they're in Idaho and they want to be friends with me, cool, because strength in numbers. I don't do that anymore. I connect with out-of-state realtors, certainly connect with local realtors, connect mostly with local people and businesses, because that's where I am. That's where I do business, and those are the people that I want to say, hey, there's that Joe Pryor. I kind of like that guy. And so maybe I want to sell some or buy some real estate with him, and that's what you're attempting to do. So we've done this now. Now what we've done is we've built up our personal network. We have 1,000 friends, 500 friends, at least some people that we could possibly get business from or may refer and say, I think you ought to talk to Joe Pryor or whoever you happen to be. So the next thing that we want to do is we want to build a business page. Now, there's various kinds of business pages I recommend, one of which is a real estate business page. How shocking is that? And again, I told you in the class, don't do a Joe Pryor real estate, because then when you send out Joe Pryor likes Joe Pryor, it sounds egotistical. Virtual real estate team, something that you do that's conceptually what you are, that seems a little bit more comforting to people, and a place where you now get permission if they like you. In other words, when you comment on your business page, it's going to their streams. And so now you have a direct connection in real estate. And again, try to talk about the market, try to talk about events, things that are going on, community information that they may deem important. Because remember, 95% of them are not ready to buy at any given moment, but they will be. So you want to do that. Another very popular page is what we call a crossover page. And that is like 365 things to do in Edmond, Oklahoma, or things to do in Edmond, Oklahoma. And what you do is you start posting events. You start talking about soccer, or high school games, or arts festivals, or Shakespeare in the Park, or things going on at Arcadia Lake. And what you do is you become the news center, the event center. Another thing that I'm doing is OKC Breaking News, aggregated Twitter feeds, because Twitter's really cool because it's instant news. It's what's going on right now. I don't have to wait 5 hours to find out a particular event, and so I can do that. These are crossover pages where you can, in a very non-invasive way, get people's trust, but throw some real estate in there and then try to direct them. Now, I mentioned a couple of ways that you very easily can do business pages. Roost.com or Roost on R-O-O-S-T on Facebook does incredible business pages. There's a free version. Excuse me, I got to scratch my nose here. And then there's also a paid version. I use the paid version. I do 6 communities. It's already set up for real estate. You can do as many as you want at $200 a year. It's a really cool thing. Then another one is Randy Eager of webstarget.com, W-E-B-S target.com. Get on one of Randy's Facebook seminars. Matter of fact, he does free seminars for all sorts of things. Of course, he's going to try to sell you something. But one of the things that's really a cool deal is the Facebook business page that he does at $159 usually. And what's nice about that is you get a free 1-year subscription to RealBird, which we talked about how effective that is in the class. So you can set up a real estate page, usually for about $160 with him. You can brand these things, you can do whatever you want to do. Now, one thing I really like about Roost is its publisher. And what I can do is I can go into the Roost publisher and, like talking about that things to do in Edmond. Let's say I have 30 things. Well, I can go ahead and go into the publisher on my things to do in Edmond business page, and I can go ahead and post 30 of them on a calendar date. So I can go ahead and set 30 in and never have to worry about it because it comes up every day. Or if you have a post you want to do right now and one at 3 o'clock, you can automatically schedule it in there. And you can even add a URL that'll come up with some graphics for you, like on your real estate homepage or your real estate IDX site. So you can direct them to real estate that holds them, that is yours at that point. And that's one thing that I do. Now, I think Facebook may come to a point where it's independent, it's its own world, and where we can have something where we can have IDX solutions and everything that I talked about that you have on your website may come to fruition here in the next year or so because Facebook is changing that fast. But you can build a business page. Now, let me get into 2 more things. We talked earlier about a database. And this is what I really like. Now, one thing I do is I also put people into multiple categories. I put them in when they came in. So if I have a January list right now, it's a January local list. And in that January local list in February or March, then what I can do is I can go to that business page, which, by the way, if you get 25 people liking it, it's yours. Then it locks in that page. So Facebook / virtual real estate team is locked in. And you can do the same. And so what I can do at that point is say, I can go to my business page, I can say, I want to promote this to my friends. And what it allows you to do at this point is promote to whatever specific category. So I don't mail everybody at one time. I can go ahead and mail the 50 people that I added in January and say, hey, Joe Pryor likes this page. So you can actually target that particular way that you get people to like your business page. And remember what I said in class. Google indexes the business page, not the personal page. The personal page is your trust page. It's the page that expands your awareness of out there that you are trustworthy, you're fun, you're knowledgeable, and you don't spam people. The business page is a serious page, is where you talk about real estate, you direct people there, you have listings they can look at, you have a website that you can direct them to, and you have Google indexing you. So this would be my strategy. Now there's one other thing I'll briefly talk about, which is we talked about pay-per-click and Google AdWords that I pay for and that I use. You can do the same thing on Facebook. I'll give you a warning. I did this for a while and it was pretty effective, except it cost me $1 a person. What I found out is I could go to these groups, I could go to friends of friends, I could really do a little homework about local people, and for free, I could do the same thing. So if you're trying to direct people to your business page, I think that might be a better way to do it as versus going into the AdWords. It's a little faster maybe in some particular respects, but it can become very expensive. So this is Facebook. This is a strategy. Now if that works for you, great. If you have another way, a variation on that, and it works, fantastic. The whole point is to kind of get you thinking about the way that you use social networks to gain acceptance by the public, and then eventually make sure that they know that you're a realtor, a knowledgeable realtor that buys and sells real estate with clients.